Hi everybody, welcome to G4G here on YouTube. Hey Chef!
Hello, children!
What's on the menu today, Chef?
More Saviors of the Multiverse stuff.
So, let's talk about what's going on this week over here in Saviors of the Multiverse, because it's a lot of stuff. And I almost feel bad doing an update video so close to the last one. But this video is designed to be a little bit of a catch-up on some things. And mostly a video for Chris to use at the top of Saviors of the Multiverse to try and tell you guys what's going on and kind of use this video as a way of answering some questions before you ask them. Today's music is brought to you by Chrono Cross and Xenogears Symphony called Xenocross. Hopefully it won't be too loud. Because one more notch down from this is basically going to be off. I'll try it. Let's see. A little too low. Maybe I can get like a 5 in there. Alright. That'll be good enough. Background, but not too loud. So, let's talk about what we've got going on here. So, over in the Discord, it has come to light that another member of our community over here by the name of Goofy Troll has gotten his hands on the source code. You might be thinking, hello, I'm going to have a Nintendo 64 kid moment. Before you have that, realize that Goofy Troll is just one person and would need a little bit of help to work on it. However, it is a good backup in case GLB does not resurface. And it proves that, in fact, the code is out there. And, of course, as we know, that's been a giant mystery since we've been talking about this since, what, maybe like September of last year? August of 2017? September of 2017? So everybody was like, man, like, I even doubted the code existed in that form. Just... It was my cynical nature, and it was the fact that we had the Russian thing going on, where the guy was like, if we donate $1,000 to this guy, I have this Russian programmer who will do it. We all know Russia's only good for one thing, and that's hacking United States elections. Ah! I slay myself. So, we do have somebody who does have the code, and they have already begun to ask questions like, okay, well, you know, if the GLB thing doesn't work out, what would you guys like me to do? Now, how is this a good thing? How is it a bad thing? Like, how does this affect you, the viewer, or you, the person who wants to play the game? Goofy Troll has far more visibility than GLB does, because GLB is in the Philippines with the working and the net shitting itself and pilfering neighbors' Wi-Fi and getting on the donkey and riding into town for a day's work and everything like that. So, GLB has been persona invisibilis for a long, long time now. Even when he was on Reddit, he still never really made it to the Discord and everything like that. So, we have not heard from him, as said in the last video, really since around Christmas. And those people who did have the contact with him have not had a lot of contact with him since then. So, it was looking kind of glum, and in the last video I said, you know, on a scale of 1 to 100, that I was kind of hovering around the 50%. At Christmas I maybe spiked up to 70, and some people are like, dude, I'm like 30 right now. The good thing is, you can think of it as like wanting to return a piece of food at Burger King and wanting to return a piece of food that you bought in the frozen section of the grocery store. Goofy Troll, and him having the source code, him having programming knowledge and everything like that, means you got your meal at Burger King and you brought it back and you're like, dude, I said no pickles, there's 2 fucking pickles on here, this tastes like crap, can I have one without pickles? That's what it's like to have Goofy Troll. He's in the Discord, he's a member of the community, he would listen to you, so if you said things like, can we make the roulettes fair, you know, a 1 in 9 chance, just like it looks visually, he could go like, yeah, I think I could do that, or no, I can't, that's not a code piece that I know how to mess with, I don't know how to, I can't find the, you know, the probabilities in here. Whereas GLB doing it is sort of like you got a Healthy Choice steamer from your local grocery store and open it up, and for some reason broccoli is missing from that one. Not that I eat fuck broccoli, but and you're like, dude, where's my broccoli? I want my fiber. I want to have really, really nasty vegetable farts tonight, and I can't without my broccoli. Think of what it would be like to get a refund for that. You have to go back to the grocery store, or maybe they're like, well, don't blame us. We didn't make it. Like, email Healthy Choice and tell them where's the fucking broccoli. So, that's what the difference is that you've got somebody right in the community saying they're doing the coding work, saying they have the code, is accessible on Discord, can be spoken to, can respond rather frequently, as compared to Mysterio, the mystery dude that we haven't heard hide nor hair. I mean, he might have fallen off the donkey on the way to his village job, and it trampled him and kicked him in the face, and he's dead. We don't know anything about what's happening with GLB, and I'm being sarcastic. I'm making light of the situation. Obviously, none of us wish him ill will, and that's not the path that I'm going here. I'm just saying it's better that there's at least somebody else out there who has the code. So let's talk about what you need to know if you are joining the Saviors of the Multiverse group, the history of things, and hopefully this video will answer the questions for you. Hopefully you're an English speaker so that you know what I'm saying and you can understand this stuff and not, like, ask the questions that have been answered 20 times over or have existed since the beginning of the project and everything. So, a little bit of history here. Chris started this page, or started this group, a long time ago when he thought there was a potential for the game to get remade. And he started going down this path and everything to basically have a place where people could come and congregate and talk about some of the opportunities that were out and about. And of course then GLB comes around and is the shining light. So, you know, here's what Chris has to say about this group. I was in another group when I started the effort. I've been looking, thinking, and hoping to find lots of things or a way for someone to take a stab at bringing MAA back. He's gone so far as to attempt to contact Playdom time and time again, and Disney time and time again. Let me draw you guys a parallel. Have you ever seen Shawshank Redemption? You remember when Tim Robbins' character was like, well, I'm just going to write them every day of the week until we get books in this library. That's what Chris has done. Like, he's been on the front line like, hello, Disney, have you found Jesus? Hello, Jehovah's Witness calling. Hello, Amway. Hello, Girl Scout cookies. Like, he's been busting down their door. As a matter of fact, in 2 days, that will be the 8 weeks that Disney says they will respond to inquiries when you mail them and everything. He's called them. He's mailed them. He's been trying to get in touch with Disney's rights and merchandising division to try and find out, like, what it's like for somebody to buy the rights to this game, the old license. There's even other people not related to Chris who are still conversing with Justin Woods on Twitter, who apparently now has stuck his dick in Minecraft. Sad. Like, Minecraft? Really? I feel bad for, like, that's like finding that guy. That's like, to me, MC Hammer. It's like MC Hammer had the mansion, he had hundreds of people around him that he flung cash at, and he had the gates, and he had cars, and he had the wife, and then he screwed up, and now he's like under a bridge somewhere as a hobo, and his wife is probably trying to cook dog for dinner. That's, to me, what it's like with Justin Woods, hearing that he's like into Minecraft and everything. It's like, dude, I just want to smack him and be like, wake up. So people are going to try to contact Justin Woods on Twitter to be like, hey, dude, is there anything you could do? Do you still know of anybody on the inn? Hi, Arthas. My cat has introduced himself. He wants to say hi. So, like, we're really super mobile now. There is, like, this is the MAA army. The MAA. The MAA. Trying to do stuff over here. I mean, I believe from the Hellcarriers even been informed of some of this stuff. They poked their head in. They're like, yo, what's up, dudes? And the Saviors Multiverse has gotten a lot of people just recently. We're not too sure where they came from. Discord's been bopping. I mean, one of the videos, I was like, hey guys, here's the Discord. And there was like 3 people sitting on. I mean, look at this user list. It's huge. It's 25 people online right now. The Discord has been segmented out to announcements, general ideas, development, hero development, Season 3, Spec Ops, and translation. So, if you know English well enough, but also know another language well, and can help maybe translate, the dialogue and everything, we can certainly need you. We can certainly have you in here. Coders and backup coders, definitely helpful. So, here's Goofy Troll asking, if I work on the game, do you want it fully implemented or just basics and like an alpha? And another thing that needs to be highlighted before I give you some more stuff about the group is that several members have tried to reach out to the guy working at that museum where they're trying to fight for changes in DMCA so that you can rebirth or renew dead MMOs. The problem is, this guy by the name of Alex Handy, and I don't mind calling him out personally because he chooses to be known as this on the internet. It's not revealing PII, personal identifiable information, and it's very similar to if you watch videos of Sid Alpha talking about the Alex Maurer case and her lawsuits. The lawyers in there were mentioned by name, and there were lawyers who specialized in this. So, Alex Handy, working for that museum, has been responding to 2 community members saying, okay, so if we want to do this for the game, what advice do you have? And unfortunately, I feel as if Alex never really paid attention or sort of knee-jerked made assumptions as to the project. This is a tiny bit low. Maybe, made knee-jerk reactions to the project over here, thinking this is a classic case of like, hey, how do I bring back Vanilla WoW? How do I bring back Asheron's Call or Dark Age of Camelot or Ultima Online, how it existed in 1999? And I don't think he was like getting it that this was an MMO, but it was only about 2 years dead now. Well, 1 and change. 1.5 years dead. But we want to make it local because his response was, frankly, I wouldn't even worry about the legal ramifications of your project at all. You've got a lot of work ahead of you just to get it working again. If you can get the server to compile and run and get the client to connect, then it's time to worry about legal ramifications. Anyway, my general advice, though not official, is to put it back online, keep it there for public, use it until somebody from Disney shows up and says you have to stop. Generally, they don't even notice this stuff for years. I'll take a look at the sources and see what we can make, but then again, I think you guys should just go ahead and do whatever you want. He's talking about like we're trying to do the server stuff again. And it's like, no, dude, we're not trying to put it online. Yes, it was online, but we're trying to make it locally executable. And so he's like, okay, I guess what I should have asked is we will be keeping the game offline in a downloadable executable file. If you don't know, this is what the fan remake of Metroid 2 was like prior to Nintendo shitting all over that and saying, stop that. I think it was A2MR, another Metroid AM2R, another Metroid 2 remake or something like that. Yeah, you can still get it, but he was told to cease and desist. People are like, oh, that's a poor example, you can still get it. No, he still was told to stop. It wasn't finished and he was told to stop. So he could be in trouble if he was discovered that he was continuing to do it. So finally Alex is like, oh, well, if you have the entire source code, it shouldn't be impossible to compile. Just anticipating there was a lot of other stuff involved. Offline or online shouldn't be too difficult in terms of difficulty. So he sort of backtracks a little bit. And some people are like, oh, I think he's being dismissive. I'm like, no, I don't think he's being dismissive. But I think he probably went into responding to us under what he sees classically. That was weird. Okay. I think he was responding to us in the way of what he sees typically for these requests. And that is unfortunate, but he did eventually come around and finally understand what we were going for, but see a little bit dismissive of it. Another thing you guys should know, here is a screenshot of what Goofy Troll is working on. Right now, just for ease of use, it was easier to have it not have the agent because of the massive complexity of having an agent in there. Do not freak out. We're not saying the game will have no agent, but for purposes of playtesting and getting screenshots, it's easier just to do heroes with their limited movesets and not have gear and everything like that. So, you know, people have been asking, where's the proof? Well, show me the proof. Here it is. So that's what Goofy Troll's working on. Somebody has offered to help with sprites and uniforms. I will say that sprites and uniforms is by far one of the hardest asset things to tackle in this, because recoloring a sprite and, you know, modifying these existing game sprites are easy. Like, we can hide the fact that this is Captain America with his fish scale uniform over here. You just recolor the shields, like... And that's what's been happening. If you look around the Discord, that's been done. But to invent new sprites and animate them for characters that, you know, we haven't seen yet, now you have to create new sprites. And you have to create animation sheets where the arm starts this way, but if they're punching, you have to have it like bend at the... Okay, so here's a good example. Here is a wrecker mob. And you can see here that in order to do a new sprite, you need to be able to get the sizing right, the general art style right, and then you need to break out the body parts into what is animated. So this simple animation of throwing a Molotov cocktail is the starting stance, breaking apart the body from the arms and the waist and the legs so that they begin to do a step forward motion, and the arm cocks at the elbow, comes back overhead, and then it slams down. The head comes further forward, begins to aim down at the ground. And as you can see, it continues all the way. It's not just this top row, continues over here. Now it's overhead. The Molotov is lit. The throwing animation, the follow-through, and coming back to center. And now we start a new animation of actually drinking, headbutts, the low Molotov cocktail. This is not easy to do when you're inventing a sprite. Recoloring this, of course, is obviously much different. So, you know, if somebody was like, well, I want to do Silver Surfer, this is what you have to do. Like, you have to have the board tilted and maybe the board rising up like he's riding a wave, like the board comes up to meet him towards the head a little bit like he does in the movie. So that's, of course, what we're facing here. Back to the group, to give you the history of the game and kind of tell you what it's like to be part of this group and answer your questions before you ask them. Saviors of the Multiverse has existed in a conceptual form since 2017. Gaming Life Beginner was the dev who was working on it, and he said, initially, I planned to have something around Thanksgiving or Christmas. The community was generally positive and not acting like, yeah, sure you do, buddy. When are you going to ask for the $1,000, like the guy representing the Russian or whatever? People generally believed him and were not calling his bluff and were not acting like assholes to him. As some time went on, he was like, I'm sorry guys, I need to step away from this project. I'm the only one in my household who's capable of getting a good job right now. There's like a mother and a pregnancy and all kinds of crazy stuff. School, military. He was the only one who could actually pull like a 40-hour work week if we're talking about, say, the United States. So he disappeared, and everybody was like, damn. And everybody's like, well, can we pay? Can we give you Patreon? Can we do this? Can we get the code from you? He said he didn't want to give up the code, and he was not accepting donations, which is a smart thing for him. Even if somebody is just trying to be generous and he accepts it, then we have some serious liability issues here. Even if he doesn't promote it, even if he's not like, here's my Patreon link, but somebody's like, dude, I just got my tax refund, can I give you $500 so you don't have to ride the donkey into the village today? Legitimately, he should not take it. It sounds really sad to offer that advice, but yeah, no, he should stay away from generosity for this. So Christmas came and went, and right around Christmas, he got in touch with two of the people on Discord. They handed over the sprites and everything that they've been working on, told them about the plots and spec ops and seasons, and he was like, okay, looking good, blah blah blah. My status is getting better, I should be able to work on this soon. And then he told them, okay, I'm aiming for a beta release date around the United States release of Infinity War, which was May 4th. This was said months before Marvel decided to move it up. You're going to say, well, Nat, what happens? How will that affect the game? It will not affect the game, because we've heard nothing that he will move the game up because the movie has moved up. We have to assume nothing at this point. We have to assume that we will not hear that from him because he's just not really around. So a question was brought up, like, well, you know, some people use the art from MAA on their websites and everything. Was there royalties? Is it a passive income? Will that be an issue for us? The answer is, like, we don't really know. But when it comes to the work that we're doing, we are twisting it so much, it could potentially be called transformative. And I have not given you guys an example of transformative yet, but Tiny Mighty is a prime example of this. So Tiny Mighty was a game that I kind of got into a little, not into, but I was screwing around with a long time ago when MAA died, because it has Marvel characters and everything. However, these are not Marvel characters. They look like a fat Wolverine, a fat Magneto, Portal, or Blink, Portal. That's, I don't even know what that one is, I forget. There's Mr. Fantastic. These guys, not that, that's Overwatch, that's an advertisement. There's like Cyclops over there. These guys are not actually the X-Men because they don't have the license to use these guys. Tiny Mighty Farewell, they ended their run back on April of 2017, so almost a year ago, but this stuff is still up. They're not even all, like, I think that's Sentry, and that was Iron Man, there's Ghost Rider. These aren't and that's like the fucking Joker over there. So, Deadpool, this is what we want to avoid for any redo of MAA, that we want to stick with Marvel characters. We should not have the Joker hanging out over there. Again, we don't, and there's like, look, there's Batman back there. I mean, dangerously close to like a Mugen thing. These guys are like, this guy's like Fat Rabbit. That guy's almost looks like a Hulk and Wolverine hybrid, but he was like Green Beast. This guy was like Silver Flash or something like that. They renamed everything, and of course they're so transformative in the art, you kind of get the idea who they are, but it's not really them. Like, that's not Professor X, he was called Wheels. And I think this was called Metal Mags or something, I forget. That actually looks like Spider-Ham, Peter Porker. That, if they fattened up a Spider-Man, they put him dangerously close to somebody else. So, this could be called transformative. Now, they altered the body and everything. I mean, look at Star-Lord. Like, you know that's Star-Lord, but it's been so transformed that it could get away with its existence and the fact that they renamed it. So us recoloring the sprites drastically means that they got away with this. And they were getting away with it for a long time. And I don't know that they stopped because of lawsuits or rights issues. So the work we've done could, much like Tiny Mighty, enable the game to exist. I mean, these are even the colors of the original characters. They're just fat and renamed. So there's that Genie Gray that I've been talking about. There's Metal Mask. Grout instead of Groot. I mean, like, really, like, Grout, not even close. Dark Shadow instead of Black Bolt. Black Spider instead of Black Widow. Hothead. Cat Lady, which was supposed to be Kitty Pryde. This Buzz instead of Wasp. That one's actually somewhat intelligent. Rabid Raccoon. Sabretooth. I don't know how they just flat out called him Sabretooth. I don't get that one. Wolfie. Miss Marvelous. Flashman, I was kind of close. Thorn. So this is sort of what we're doing. We're just being better about the colors and shit. That should help. So now you're up to date with how everything has gone over here. People in Discord have created seasons. They've created Spec Ops. PvP, just don't even ask about PvP for now. You need to let PvP sit. Don't worry about fighting offline people, online people. Oh, let's host a server. Just forget about PvP for a little bit. It's not really where the pressure is right now in all of this. We're focusing on the main game, seasons, Spec Ops, and shit like that. The good news is that the girlfriend slash artist slash coder is going to be more accessible pretty soon. So maybe she can assist for this. Some people are like, oh, Napalm's girlfriend is good. No, let's not jump to that conclusion. I don't even know if she knows exactly the languages used in this. I've sort of shared what she does know, and people have like, yeah, okay, that comes pretty close. She's got her own stuff to worry about. I don't know how her free time is going to go. She does art for money. She might not be able to pull away from that. However, if the game gets released and maybe somebody's like, hey, we could use a really cool loading screen or splash screen, that's something that maybe I can convince her to do. But, maybe she can run over somebody's code and, like, look for bugs and stuff. I just don't want to really speak for her, but it's a possibility. So that's really what's going on right now. The game, to sum everything up, the game is going to be downloadable, so how GLB plans to get that zip file to somebody or a place where it could be downloaded routinely if he doesn't have consistent internet, I don't know, maybe he'll upload it to a Megafire. Maybe somebody has some server host space who could at least host the game. I foresee hopefully a point in the future where there is a mod server where people can download mods that other people produce. Like the Fallout Nexus or the Skyrim Nexus, the Bethesda Nexuses and everything like that. Nexium? Antacid? We all need Antacid on this project. That's what I would like to see. How that it would ever get hosted, I don't know, because that involves registering a domain. That involves getting web hosting space, adminning it. We have to be careful about user-submitted code that I honestly believe it should be checked for bugs and potential virus code in there. I again, don't think I'm tinfoil hatting this over here, but it is something to be considered, that a mod should not be instantly available the moment somebody uploads it. There should be a check there like, okay, I had the game in a sandbox, a VM, I loaded the code, it's clean, we're good. I mean, there is no personally identifiable information in this. You're not using credit cards. You're using a screen name like you're playing Dragon Age on your computer. You're like, my name is Dicky Mighty. okay, like, that doesn't reveal anything. There's no credit card, there's no birth date and stuff. However, we still want to make sure malicious code is not executed through the game. So I do believe there should be a checker available for this. You're going to download the game, you're going to install it. GLB said he would tell you a way of reverting everything back to the normal game. It just can't get released in its old state because of copyrights issues and everything. You know, way back in the day when I had a Commodore 64, I used to do byte hacking of my games. So like Ultima 3 and Ultima 4, if I wanted to rename Lord British to Lord Shittish, because I was a kid, and that was, of course, hysterical. When you're a teenager, like, hey, look, everybody, it's Lord Shittish. It was... You were doing sector seeking. You literally were editing the code on the diskette by searching for plain text and everything. GLB plans to make it that easy for you. Like, okay, here's how, this is the file that you're gonna go where all the hero names are, so search for Iron Mask and put in Iron Man if you want to change it. I really would not try to change the colors. Just, if somebody recolored Black Widow to not look like Black Widow, just accept it. Don't bother trying to change it back to Black Widow. You want to rename it? Fine. You want to recolor it? I think you're stupid. That's just me. And that's pretty much it. You know, are we still shooting for a May 4th date? I don't know. I've heard nothing either way. Are we shooting for it to be pushed up due to the new Infinity Wars? Probably not. What is Goofy Troll's timeline for this? I think it will be around GLB's, if not a little bit better. We just need the community to come together and continue working on the sprites. Somebody who could work on sprite and animation sheets for new characters that we're talking about. And when you come into Discord, when you come into Saviors in the Multiverse, for God's sakes, don't be the guy who sits there and does, hey guys, so can we have Mystique in the game because she's like Jennifer Lawrence and she's really pretty and she's nude with the boobies. I really want Mystique in the game because she can transform into somebody with bigger boobies, and that'd be really cool. Like, just don't be the guy who does, like, read stuff. Like I mentioned in the etiquette video, like, read the Discord, look at the documents, look at the stickies, and don't be, like, honestly, I would punch puppies to get Firestar controllable in a game that I could play. She was a team-up in Marvel Heroes, and I was glad to see somebody in Savior say this, that was their first crush too, because, like, Angelica was redhead, she had a good body in that cartoon. I mean, I was like 6 when that cartoon was around or something. That was probably, like, my first girl crush of all time, was fucking Firestar from the Amazing Spider-Man and Friends cartoon with, you know, not gay Iceman. God, it's so stupid. Not gay Iceman, Bobby Drake, and Firestar, and Spider-Man, and everything like that. And somebody else was like, yeah, me too. But, like, just don't geek out and be like, oh, Namor, Silver Surfer, just let it flow over you. It's just a nice relaxing day on the beach, and the water's just, like, gently lapping at your toes. Don't go out there and try and part the Red Sea. You're not Moses. Like, think that people have probably had the same ideas that you have already. So, there's that. I want to point out one thing really quick, though, is that LA was working on White Phoenix, believing that the original White Phoenix in MAA to kind of be underpowered when it was supposed to be one of the most powerful characters. And I would like to say that, oh, LA, you gotta fix my name. I just noticed that. I'm Napalm, not Naplam. Naplum. I'm gonna have to tell him that. So he's redoing White Phoenix for Saviors. Very psychic based, and I just wanted to highlight my contribution over here. He was trying to think of a good psychic debuff, and I said, how about something called Mind Fog, where it has a 1 in 4 chance to cause one of the following. Equal chances, by the way. You attack the intended target. In other words, nothing happens. You attack a random target, sort of like Agent Venom when he's in his Venom form, out of control. You attack an ally, like being possessed, or the attack simply fails, like a cower. I think this is reasonable for such a powerful character. You don't want the debuff to be so OP. You know, you still have a 1 in 4 chance of doing what you want. You have a 50% chance of it having be a positive thing. You have a 25% chance of it being a super bad thing, and a 25% chance of Jesus is like fucking fighting Kurth. So I just wanted to highlight my little contribution to that. Check out Ilay's work here in White Phoenix on the MAA fanfic universe. It's up here, maafanficuniverse.wiki.com/wiki/white_phoenix_costume overmake. Parentheses. So here it is. Check it out. I'm sure there are other characters going up over here that are being included in the game and everything. And I'm going to get Ilay to fix my name because I'm not a Naplum. I'm a Napalm. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Do apologize if it is too many updates too quickly. Over the next few days, I want to do a video on Marvel Future Fight and Netmarble because they're pulling some shit again. And Chronoblade is back, mobile again, so it's back for mobile number 2. It was Facebook, disappeared for years, came back for mobile, didn't have a global release, and now it has a global release again. So I want to do a video on Chronoblade, and I want to do a video on what Netmarble is going to be pulling for some Marvel Future Fight sales. Spoiler alert, they're fucking expensive. See everybody, have a good one.